Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Crickbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now.
The first part of it will be tomorrow afternoon, New Zealand v Namibia. Asha, for New Zealand, they had a little bit of a stutter against Scotland. Do they need to put some things right there?
Now, just look at the net run rate figures again. Before the Afghanistan game, India were minus 1.6. They're now plus 0.07. If you round it off, plus 0.1. So that's a swing of 1.7 in net run rate effectively in one game. Now, New Zealand wins similarly. You are looking, or if not by such a large margin, you're looking at that New Zealand run rate going up to 2. And so that means India's job becomes even more difficult. But as you said, we love looking at net run rates. I think as a nation, we have net run rates enshrined inside us. We just naturally gravitate towards net run rates. But of course, as you said, if New Zealand beat Afghanistan, then it's gone anyway. Then you think of 2022, India start thinking 22 as well.
But there's also the hazard of not looking at net run rates, as we also saw in the 2019 World Cup. You've got to keep an eye on it because at some point it could come to haunt you. And it's not just 2019 World Cup. Joy, I know you're smiling. There have been so many editions of the IPL. Team in 5th place, team in 4th place, same amount of points. The difference? NRR.
Don't worry, I've lost enough sleep over it in my life already. I don't lose any more sleep. But that's the point, that if I was New Zealand, I'd be looking at it and saying, let's make that last match irrelevant as long as we get close to Afghanistan. Let's make it irrelevant. Let's put ourselves so much ahead that, even whatever happens in that last match, India will struggle to reach us. And that's something they can do because they have two choices. I think they'll win tomorrow's match, but if they win it by a big margin, then they'll also very, very depressurize themselves in the situation against Afghanistan. And I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to also just do exactly what Australia did today. Just try and make sure that the run rate is such that a result in the last match may not make that much of a difference.
Let's have a quick look at the squad and see. We saw Martin Guptill was outstanding except for the fact that he suffered with the heat. And remember, this is an afternoon game again. So you'll have to have everything rejuvenated over there. The only one person who stands out for me, who is an impact player with the situation like this, is Tim Seifert. Now, Glenn Phillips did enough to hang in there. I know he struggled at times, Harsha, but do you see them trying to maybe fit him in? Jimmy Neesham is a big hitter. He's just not come to the party yet.
They did something interesting in the last game. They left out Tim Seifert and chose to go with the extra bowler. So they had 5 full bowlers plus Neesham and Mitchell. So they packed their bowling. I wonder if they'll go that route and pack their bowling and say we'll back our top 6 batsmen plus Santner at 7 to go and produce the big score in case we are batting first. In case we are batting second, we've got five proper bowlers. We just blast out Namibia and then chase that down very quickly. So they erred on the side of the extra bowler in the game against Scotland, which I found interesting.
Yeah, but we've seen times a test playing nation like Bangladesh twice bowled out under 100. The other side of the coin, we've seen an associate nation like Scotland who have struggled against the spin of Afghanistan but put up a sterling show against New Zealand. So because New Zealand played Scotland and how Scotland responded, they'll be wary of Namibia because they're no pushover.
No, they're no pushovers, and I think they're a good team. But again, I think that exactly what Harsha is saying, that if you look at that attack, they'll turn around and said, we should be going in with 5 proper bowlers because 6 batsmen should do it for us. 6 batsmen with whatever Santner batting at 7 should do it for us. And they have to back themselves on these decisions because you see, it is going to be a situation where you want to put yourself, how many matches, if I may have a really comprehensive win against here, I'm further securitizing myself in my last match. So I think they're going to go and make that extra effort out there. And I think they're going to play that same thing. Santner is the 7th. So Santner, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 are actually bowlers. Santner's probably the best batter lot. Interesting one though, I really feel somebody like, Adam Milne has pace. But I really feel that, not too many people are used to playing the bounce of somebody like a Kyle Jamieson from the height that he brings it down. And for a lot of associate nations, people like leg spinners or people who come down from a great height, they aren't easy to play because they just don't play enough of these players. So I would
And,
definitely look
Joy,
at saying
absolutely.
Yeah.
And Kyle Jamieson gives you a little bit with the bat if required. New Zealand will hope it doesn't again come down to that. Kane Williams is not going to get a failure yet again. From New Zealand's sake, we hope. So it could be a good option, Jamieson for Mill.
It's a very good option, actually. It's a very good option because the two teams they're up against, if Jamieson can deliver the extra, he bowls about what, early 130s, right? He doesn't bowl 140 like Adam Milne does. He bowls early 130s. But if he can hit Afghanistan and Namibia with bounce, then it might be an interesting selection because Milne has been going for a few runs too.
That's the thing. I mean, 140
Yeah, Mill
might
got
appear
smashed,
to some
exactly.
teams who are uncomfortable, but to other teams, the quicker it comes, the quicker it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I was a New Zealand bowling coach and I saw Shane Bond out there, and I'm sure there's a lot of people there, they would have turned around and said that, mate, you cannot have Scotland take 155 off you. You just cannot. You cannot have a team with that kind of batting quality take 150, 155 off you. Just like I felt that the Indian bowling coach would be turning around and looking at them and saying, you couldn't have given those 40 odd runs away in the last 3 overs.
Yeah, it's all very well to celebrate the fireworks of the 210, but I think, yes, when we talk about India, we will refer to that at the moment. Let's just finish off with looking at the Namibian squad, Harsha. And again, we've shown a wonderful story. Of course it is. They've done a little bit of tinkering. We saw the first sign of Ben Shikongo, whether or not he didn't have to keep his place in the side or not, but certainly they'll be relying on the likes of Trumpelman to come hard at New Zealand early on.
I think the issue is that not a lot of others have stood up. Trumpelman, Visser, Erasmus, Schmidt. If it's a slowish track, Freiling. If it's not a slowish track, then Freiling isn't the same has the same impact. Craig Williams has just sort of dipped a little bit. Stephen Bard has not come back to where he was. We talked about Craig Williams, yeah. Zane Green they've not picked, and who's the other one? Van Lingen they brought in. He didn't get going too much either. So they're really depending on Erasmus, Visser, and Schmidt. So I was hoping that, because I was very impressed with the way Namibia played, I was hoping that someone else other than these people would have now started to get recognized. To some extent, that's not happened. But I think they've been a better team than Scotland, so they should back themselves to go out and produce a good performance.
They certainly should. And two more
Is this game at Sharjah?
It is in Sharjah.
Yes.
If it's in Sharjah, possibly you might see Scholz playing, because their extra Shikonze didn't give them too much with the Mezzanine.
No, Scholz, yeah.
Or Harsha's favorite,
And
Picky
they were
France.
playing with a complete medium pace attack last night.
Yeah, Picky France is just he's just a nice, simple
He should be picked.
off spin bowler.
He should be picked just for his name.
He's a Picky. Yeah, Picky.
Pick just you should just pick.
Just like Jan Nicol Lofty Eaton was picked. 4 names, can't ignore it. But I thought that was one of the stories of this stage of the tournament. Didn't bat, didn't bowl for 3 matches consecutively. Didn't bat, didn't bowl. And then suddenly he comes on, impact player, bats at number 3, full 4 overs and delivers. So I think he has a bit of a role to play as well.
So we have to respect with Namibia where they're coming from. They have very few grounds in that country. Cricket's not taken off from when they last qualified for a major tournament. 18 players to pick from. They're hoping that this performance will kickstart something. So really Namibia's goal was to make the Super 12. Once they made the Super 12, they're very happy. They're there already. Now they've got to, with their performance, start to impress a lot of people there and hope that a lot of younger players will get inspired and come through. I don't see them putting up a huge fight against New Zealand unless they catch New Zealand on the hop on a ground like Sharjah, keep them to 140 and just hope, like he does in the PSL and like he does in a couple of other leagues, Visser just comes and goes boom, 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 boom and wins the game of the last over or something like that. But I think it's looking, it's clutching at straws. I mean, New Zealand are way, 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 way stronger.